It is Monday, and I'm getting this amazingly huge brisket ready for dinner. It's like not even 10 in the morning. I have my oven preheated to 250, and I've coated this in salt, pepper, and Worcestershire sauce. It's a Dutch oven. I'm going to cover it up and leave it in the oven for 6 hours. Okay, there we go. It's been 6 hours, and this is ready to skim the fat off of it. So I'm going to remove it from this pot onto a plate, remove all the fat, and cut up the meat. And I've also raised the temperature of the oven to 300. Okay, so here's the brisket, and there's a lot of fat. So I'm going to get a knife and just an extra bowl to get rid of all this fat. And it comes off really easy. All you got to do is slightly scrape it with the knife, and it comes right off. You don't want to lose any meat. And you'll just do this to the whole thing, on the bottom, on the top, and then you have to cut it in half to get some fat out from the middle, depending on the piece you got. Then go for it. I don't like any fat on my meat. I guess there's some exceptions, like pork, if it's crispy, like un chicharrón. That's nice, but if it's like in the meat all gelatinous like that, I do not like it at all. Alright, and mine has a little on the inside too, so I'm probably going to cut this thing in half and get it out from in there. So should get a smaller fork. That's not helping. That's like a weird piece. Alright, so I'll finish this off. Alright, I'm done taking the fat off. You may want to keep your juices just how they are, or skim the top for like grease. This was a pretty fatty brisket, so I think I'm going to ladle a couple of scoops off the top, because it's got at least 1/4 inch of grease on the top, and then underneath that is all the yummy beef stock. After I do that, I'm going to cut this meat against the grain. It doesn't have to be perfect. If it starts to shred, that's fine, but you're supposed to cut it against the grain. So I'm going to switch my knife. And just cut it. And it won't all stay together in perfect strips, and that's fine because it's a stew, so you'll have some big chunks, some small chunks. Not a big deal. And some pieces have already come off anyways because of the intensity of the fat removal. I've made this twice and really enjoyed it. It's delicious. And it's so easy because this has just been in the oven all day. Now just do this process, cut it up, throw some extra things in the oven, in the pot with it, and then walk away for an hour and dinner's ready. Alright, I'm going to work on this. Ew. So there's the brisket, nice and chunky in some spots and nice and shredded in others. I am done ladling the top, and I did get some, got a lot of oil out. I got a tiny bit of broth out, but that's okay. Now I'm gonna put the pot on medium heat and chop up half of an onion and a few carrots and a little bag of frozen peas and a few red potatoes. Okay, that's broth is heating over medium. So first thing to go in are the onions. I'm just gonna toss this right in there. Half of an onion. And I cut it like, I don't know. I feel like you can use the same vegetables over and over, but if you just cut them differently for whatever dish, it gives it a different feel, you know? So I'm doing my carrots at a slant, but like not a very angled slant, just like kind of fat, a short slant. And a little thick so that there's some texture to it, but not so thick that it won't be tender in an hour, you know? And I went with 4 carrots and 4 red potatoes. Of course, you can use other potatoes. I just happen to have the ones the recipe calls for. But if I had russet, I would use russet. If I had Yukon Gold, even sweet potatoes in a stew with beef, broth, and everything is delicious. And I'm just gonna cut these into 6 pieces, like half and then two more slices. So like half long ways and then just 1, 2 wide ways. And that way they're nice sizes, but not so big that they won't cook in an hour. You guys have seen for my roast, I skin the whole potato and just put the entire thing in the pot. I love that. But this is only going to cook for another hour, so we want to make sure everything's tender and wonderful. All right, and that's it for chopping. So this is what it's looking like. Add the peas now. I think that is about 10 ounces. I'm not using the whole bag. I don't want it to be too many. Well, maybe I will use the whole bag after all. Yeah, I'm going to put a 12-ounce bag of peas in here. Might as well. It also expands the dish and helps it last longer. Leftovers. So I'm going to let the heat get the liquid boiling and the peas melted and the onions a little translucent. And then I'll add the meat back in and we'll put this in the oven. Well, before I put it back in the oven, there's 2 more ingredients. I'm going to add some bone broth and some white wine and salt and pepper. I'm going to go ahead and up the heat on this. It's already 5:45. I don't want dinner to take too long. So I'm going to pour in 1 cup of bone broth and half a cup of white wine. You can use chicken stock or vegetable stock or beef stock. You can use red wine or white wine. But that's what I had, white wine and bone broth. And I'm going to get this liquid boiling some and then get the meat back in there and pop this in the oven because it needs an hour in there. I don't want it to take much longer. Okay, good. Now this is hot. I added the beef, as you can see, the brisket, and salt and pepper. And I'm going to pop this in the oven at 300 degrees for an hour. And I have served this with bread. the other times I've made it, just like a yummy crusty French bread. But tonight, I think I'm going to serve it over rice, just to change it up and make it really just go a longer way. So I'm going to turn the heat off and get it in the oven. I just pulled this out, and it is ready. And it smells amazing. Delicious. So I'm going to serve this over a little rice, and I went ahead and cut up some bread. So, hope you like it. Enjoy.